Hello students, today we will discuss the orientation of automobile engineering. That is, briefly I will discuss the content of this subject. So as per Mumbai University curriculum, this is the elective subject. So total weightage for this subject 100 marks, that is 80 marks theory paper and 20 marks for internal assessment, that is 20 marks for class tests. So several reference book I will recommend as per Mumbai University curriculum is concerned. So the best book as per Mumbai University curriculum is Automobile Engineering by Kripal Singh. So use volume 1 and volume 2 of Kripal Singh. So maximum syllabus content will be covered in this book. So second reference book, that is Automobile Engineering by A.R. Thipse. This Thipse, as ex-director of Automobile, that is Association of Automobile Research Association in India, that is ARAI, which is at Pune. So good book as per case studies are concerned, that is Automobile Engineering by Thipse, which is ex-director of ARAI. Then several local author books, that is Automobile Engineering by Gupta, Automobile Engineering by R.K. Rajput, Domkundwar, Ramlingam. Use any reference book, okay, along with Kripal Singh. Then module 4 is on electrical system. So some content of electrical system will get in Automotive Mechanics by William Cruz. So good book. Publication is McGraw-Hill. Then Computerized Engine Control by Dick H. King. So different recent trends in engine and some of the recent trends in cruise control you are getting in this book. So students, first module of this subject is on transmission system. So you might have a question. What is the function of transmission? What is the need of transmission? So transmission system is heart of automobile, that is along with engine, transmission system is the important system as per automobile engine is concerned. So see, function of transmission system: to transmit the engine power to road wheels, that is transmission system is incorporated in between engine and wheels and tire, you can say that. So motion and power transmission from engine to wheels and tire is done by this important system, that is transmission system. So as per our syllabus, first component of transmission system is clutch. So as friction clutches or hydraulic clutches are popularly used in vehicle. For example, from friction clutches, single plate clutch, multi plate clutch, cone clutch or centrifugal clutch. I think you might have studied its various types of clutches in dynamics of machinery, that is one practical study practical is on study of clutches. So some content you have discussed in dynamics of machinery, that is various types of clutches, that is friction clutches. Now see, these friction clutches are mechanical clutches So mechanical clutch is generally classified into two categories, that is positive displacement clutch and friction clutch. So positive displacement clutches are nowadays obsolete one. Positive displacement clutch, also called as jaw clutch or claw clutch. Friction clutches, so theory of friction generally incorporated. So in automobile or in vehicle, you can say that friction clutches are popularly used as per manual transmission is concerned. So second category of clutches, hydraulic clutches. So in semi-automatic or fully automatic transmission, hydraulic clutches are popularly used. So first hydraulic clutch is fluid flywheel. That is, hydraulic clutch consists of pump and turbine. Then this fluid flywheel is again replaced by, that is, in maximum automatic transmission, torque converter uses. So torque converter, one more component is added in fluid flywheel or fluid coupling, that is, along with pump and turbine, stator or stationary guide vane is added, so that it will be more efficient as per performance of gearbox is concerned. So next component, important component in a transmission system is gearbox. So first I will discuss how the motion or how the power from engine is transmitted to wheels and tire. Students, so output shaft of a engine is the crankshaft. So in 5th semester you already discuss or you have already analyzed internal combustion engine. So as per automobile engineering is concerned, internal combustion engine not included, because in 5th semester a separate subject you have studied. So we will not discuss the internal combustion engine, that is, prime mover or power generating device of a vehicle is an internal combustion engine. That is, in maximum vehicles internal combustion engine is used. Now recent trend in automobile, that is, instead of IC engine in electrical vehicles or in hybrid vehicles, this IC engine is replaced, okay, but still now in maximum vehicles prime mover is IC engine. So IC engine we will not discuss. So power from engine given to clutch via flywheel. So output shaft of a clutch is connected to gearbox, that is transmission unit, you can say that. Gearbox is also called as transmission unit. From gearbox, motion and power is transmitted to propeller shaft via universal joint. From propeller shaft, the power is given to final drive. From final drive to differential. From differential to driving axle. From driving axle to wheels. From wheels to tire. Thus, there is a motion of vehicle. So auto means self, mobile means self propelled vehicle, so it is called as automobile. So self propelled vehicle. So thus, with the help of transmission system, engine power is given to wheels and tire via transmission system. So gearbox, so different types of gearbox: sliding mesh gearbox, constant mesh gearbox, then synchro mesh gearbox, epicyclic train type of gearbox or planetary gearbox. These 4 gearbox. So out of these 4 gearbox, that is first gearbox, that is sliding mesh gearbox, is nowadays absolute one, not at all used in vehicles. This constant mesh, again absolute one. In few vehicles constant mesh is used. So popularly used in manual transmission, synchro mesh type of gearbox, that is third category synchro mesh gearbox. And in semi-automatic or automatic transmission, we are using planetary gearbox, that is epicyclic train type of gearbox. Now student, next important element in a transmission system, that is propeller shaft. So propeller shaft take motion or power from main shaft of gearbox via universal joint. So there are different types of universal joint. I think in machine design 1, we have studied, that is coupling. So universal joint is one type of coupling. So universal joint 2 category: constant velocity joint or variable velocity joint. We will discuss in detail later. So depending on the vehicle, particular universal joint we are choosing. So propeller shaft, it is the rotating shaft. It has a rotary motion. So propeller shaft is a hollow shaft, single in number or more than 1. If the distance between engine and driving axle is more than 1 propeller shaft you can use. That is, in heavy duty vehicles more than 1 propeller shaft are used. So different types of propeller shaft, okay, we'll discuss in detail while discussion of module 1. So then different types of universal joint included in academic. Then axle, front axle or rear axle, that is 4th component as per syllabus. Okay, first we will discuss the syllabus content. While discussion of particular module or particular automobile system, okay, other recent trends we will discuss. Okay, so that will be useful to analyze, that is recent trend in automobile, because syllabus is conventional. So as per revised syllabus, only 36 hours are mentioned, that is per week only 3-hour lecture. So syllabus is somewhat constrained or compressed. So but maximum content other than academic, which will be useful to understand the recent content, recent trend, that I will discuss in detail. So axle, again front axle, rear axle. So student, engine power may be transmitted to front axle or engine power may be transmitted to rear axle. If engine power is transmitted to front axle is the live axle, you can say that, or driving axle, live axle or driving axle. Suppose engine power is transmitted to rear axle, then rear axle is the driving axle or live axle. So I will ask one question. It is possible that engine power is transmitted to both axle, that is front axle and rear axle also, that is engine power is distributed to front axle as well as rear axle, that is both axle front and rear are live axle or driving axle. Just investigate on it. Okay, now student, second module is on, that is some content of transmission system is included in second module, that is final drive and differential. So final drive, student, final drive is generally a gear drive in maximum vehicle. So function of final drive is connected in between propeller shaft and differential. So power or motion from propeller shaft is given to final drive. From final drive, motion is given to differential. From differential to driving axle. From driving axle to wheels and from wheels to tire. Okay. So final drive, generally gear drive. From gear drive, popularly used gear drive is two bevel gear, that is meshing of two bevel gear. These two bevel gear are straight bevel gear. So worm and worm wheel not at all use. Okay, so now wheel, worm and worm wheel, absolute one. So popularly used final drive bevel, that is meshing of two bevel gear. So generally straight bevel gear. So in some final drive spiral bevel gear are also used, but in maximum vehicle straight bevel gear. Next component of transmission as per academic, differential. So differential, see student, this component will be absent as per two-wheelers are concerned. So in two-wheeler differential is absent. So investigate why differential is absent as per two-wheeler are concerned. So in four-wheeler, need of differential. So differential has an important role while turning of vehicle. So if vehicle want to take either left turn or right turn, so differential plays vital role in directional control. So different types of differential: conventional differential, non-slip type of differential or no slip type of differential, double speed reduction type of differential. We will discuss in later, but as per our academic, we will focus on conventional type of differential. So students, in dynamics of machinery you have studied, in kinematics of machinery you have studied various types of epicyclic gear train. So differential is a special epicyclic gear train, that is all gears in epicyclic gear train if are moving, that is non-fixed type of epicyclic gear train, that is called as differential. So generally in epicyclic gear train none of the gear we are fixing, but differential special epicyclic gear train that all gears are moving. It is the assembly of sun and planet gear along with bevel and two bevel gear, that is bevel, pinion and crown wheel. So in module 2, first content is final drive and differential. So second content in module 2, steering system. So need of steering system, that is directional control. So generally directional control is provided to front wheel. Again, one more question. So dear students, directional control is required for rear wheel or steering of rear wheel? Any advantage of steering the rear wheel? Generally in maximum vehicles, steering control is given to front wheel only. My question is that directional control or steering to all wheel, that is front wheel or rear wheel, possible? Directional control to rear wheel, possible? That is second condition. First condition, directional control to all wheel. Second, only directional control to rear wheel. Investigate it. Okay. So generally in maximum vehicle, directional control is given to front wheel. So again, content of steering system, very less content. So steering system, first component, steering wheel. So driver gives the rotary motion to steering wheel. So input effort will be the rotary motion. So rotary motion to steering wheel, that will be input effort. What will be the output? Output will be the turning of road wheel. So turning of road wheel, in between this different components. So steering wheel is connected to steering column. So different types of steering column: collapsible, non-collapsible, reversible, irreversible. So classification done on various basis, not including in our syllabus, that is types of steering column. So generally we'll focus on steering gear and steering geometry or wheel alignment. Important content as per exam point of view. So first component, steering wheel. Then steering wheel is connected to steering column. To a steering column there will be a steering gearbox. So steering gearbox is connected to drop arm. Then various steering linkages, that is tie rod, drag link. Then last linkages will be connected to the wheel assembly. So there will be turning of wheel. So various steering linkages, various type of steering system, that is conventional. So if suspension system is altered, steering system, that is some alteration in steering linkages, you must have to incorporate. That will be done by automobile manufacturer. So in steering system we'll focus on types of steering gears. So different types of steering gears: worm and worm wheel, rack and pinion, recirculating ball type of screw. So we'll discuss in detail while taking module 2. So along with this, one more important content, that is steering geometry. So steering geometry, also called as wheel alignment, that is in steering geometry we will discuss various components, that is caster angle, camber angle, toe in, toe out, scrub radius, kingpin inclination, These parameters are very important in directional control. So third component or third content in module 2, braking system. So I think you might have aware about the various types of mechanical brake, that is block brake, then band brake, band and block brake, internal expanding shoe brake. These are the 4 important mechanical brake. So out of this, in vehicle or in automobile popularly used mechanical brake is drum brake. So internal expanding shoe type of drum brake is used in a vehicle. So again, in drum brake, depending on the category of shoe, that is trailing shoe, leading shoe, generally at least 2 shoes are used. One may be trailing, one may be leading, that is one combination. Second, both trailing. Third combination, both trailing. Along with this, we can use more than 2 shoes. So detailed discussion we'll do afterwards. So 2 important brakes. First we will discuss, that is drum brake. Drum brake, it is a mechanical brake. Second, disc brake. Disc brake is a hydraulic brake. Then we'll move towards various types of braking system. So in a braking system, drum brake may be used, disc brake will be used. So first braking system will be the mechanical braking system, that is conventional braking system. Second category, hydraulic braking system. Then vacuum brake, then pneumatic brake, servo brake. In light duty vehicles, servo brake may be incorporated. Vacuum brake, in heavy duty vehicles vacuum brakes are used. So as per cruise control are concerned, that is speed control are concerned, ABS, that is anti-lock braking system, is incorporated in some vehicles, that is in various advanced cars. ABS, that is anti-lock braking system, is used. Now moving towards the third module. Third module is on suspension system and wheels and tire. That is first content suspension system, second wheels and tires. So students, function of suspension system or need of suspension system other than comfort, you will say it will absorb the extra shocks. Other than this, so requirement, need, okay, these points you must have to sort out. So directly I will discuss various components in suspension system. So in suspension system, 2 important components are used, that is springs is the first component, second component is the damper or shock absorber. So springs, lip spring may be used. So from lip spring, semi elliptic, fully elliptic, 3/4 elliptic. Then second spring, that is helical compression spring, ear spring. Then torsion bar, stabilizer bar, it is a one type of spring, stabilizer bar, torsion bar, anti-roll device. Then damper, mechanical damper, hydraulic damper. So in hydraulic damper we will discuss in detail telescopic type of damper or telescopic shock absorber. Then after discussion of various types of spring and various types of damper, two important suspension systems are incorporated as per automobile or vehicle is concerned. So first one is the rigid axle suspension system and second one is the independent suspension system. So dear students, in rigid axle suspension system only leaf spring are used. Along with leaf spring, torsion bar or anti-load device will be used. In independent suspension system, damper are the leading from the front. So hydraulic damper generally. So what is the difference between rigid axle suspension and independent suspension? Independent suspension in advanced car, rigid axle suspension is replaced by independent suspension system. So simple differentiating point between rigid axle and independent suspension. In rigid axle suspension, the control or the rigid axle suspension controls only the load transfer of an axle, that is, if motion of one wheel, that is first wheel, rear wheel or front wheel, or suppose for example two front wheel has a certain load transmitting capacity, that load will be transmitted to axle. So that load from axle, that is disturbing load or disturbing force, will be taken by leaf spring. So it will be combined applicable for both the wheels. So it will take care of the load distribution of both the wheels. But in independent suspension system, so movement of each wheel will be controlled by separate suspension system. So I will not discuss in terms of load and stresses, okay? Otherwise you will be confused. Either we are discussing machine design or automobile engineering. So remember, rigid axle suspension will take care of both the wheels at a time. So it has some constraint. But independent suspension system, it will take care the movement of each wheel, that is for each wheel separate independent suspension system will be incorporated. So more flexibility as per independent suspension system is concerned. So for front suspension and for rear suspension, either rigid axle or independent, different types of subsystem, the suspension system investigated by various scientists, that is Wishbone, McPherson, tailing arm, tailing link, okay, that we will discuss later, okay, while discussion of particular suspension system. So in third module, along with suspension system, one more content is added, that is wheels and tire. So wheels and tire will discuss various types of wheels various types of tires. For example, wheels, pressed steel disc, popularly used along with pressed steel disc. Rim type of wheel, so rim and pressed steel disc, popularly used. Tires, tubeless tire, tubed tire. Okay, so in maximum vehicle, that is a two-wheeler and light-duty vehicles, tubed tire are replaced by tubeless tire. So depending on the type of ply, tire are radial ply tire, cross ply tire, or belted bias type of tire. Okay, so less content of wheels and tire, that is various types of wheels, various types of tire we will discuss. Then fourth system or fourth module is on electrical system. So student, electrical system generally has a four subsystem. First one is the charging system, second one is the lighting system, third one is the ignition system, and fourth one is the starting system. So charging system, it is required to charge the battery. So in a charging system, generally generator and dynamometer are used. Now again, one more question for you. What is the difference between generator and dynamo? Which is more preferable, either generator or dynamo? That is either AC generator or DC generator. So AC generator is called as alternator, right? It is. So investigate which one is the more preferable, either dynamo now. Next, ignition system, third lighting system. So lighting system and ignition system not included in our syllabus. So as per electrical system is concerned, charging system and starting system, that is charging and starting, included in our syllabus. So starting system, starter motor to start a vehicle. So in some vehicles, manual cranking. Okay, so in some light duty vehicles there is the manual cranking during starting of vehicle. That is in two-wheeler. Okay, 10 years down the line, kick we are applying. Okay, that is some manual effort. Okay, to start the two-wheeler. Now automatic starting is incorporated with the help of battery, that is self-starting, you can say that. So starting system, so important component in a starting system is starter motor and drive mechanism for starting system. We will discuss in detail later. Okay, so next module is on body engineering, that is fifth module. So again, not much content as per body engineering is concerned. So first content is body stylus or body layout for different types of vehicle, that is for cars, which are the preferable layout for body design, you can say that. For light duty vehicles, medium duty vehicles, heavy duty vehicles, what will be the layout? For special purpose vehicle, that is tanker, ambulance, van, which type of layout must be preferable. So first content is various types of body stylus or body design. So second content in body engineering, types of frame. So vehicle with frame or without frame, that is frameless structure. In advanced car, frameless structure, that is frame is absent. So frame will be replaced by various types of panel, that is side panel, bottom panel, top panel, and all other automobile system is mounted on this panel. But frame is the essential component as per heavy duty vehicles are concerned. So frame, so preferable material for frame, then preferable cross section for frame, either to use box section, eye section, channel section. So material for frame also important. So generally steel is the preferable material. From steel, either alloy steel, mild steel, low carbon steel. So find out the suitable material for frame. Now on this frame, as per heavy duty vehicles are concerned, all components are mounted, that is automobile systems are mounted, that is transmission system, suspension system, braking system, electrical system, also body, that is structure, is mounted on frame. So it supports the body structure along with various other subsystem of a vehicle. Now next content in body engineering is chassis. So what is meant by chassis? Any idea? A student, a vehicle without body is called a chassis. So vehicle without structure or superstructure is called a chassis. So chassis, the important category are open type of chassis, semi-integral type of chassis, integral type of chassis. So depending on the either vehicle is light duty vehicle, medium duty vehicle, heavy duty vehicles, passenger vehicles, goods carrier, okay, particular type of chassis we are incorporating. Now student, last content is recent trend, that is recent trends in automobile. So various recent trends are included, that is cruise control, then adaptive cruise control, electronic stability program, electronic brake distribution, traction control unit, integrated starter alternator. Okay, so electronic control module generally used. So this electronic control module will give indication, so there will be automation. So in recent trend, that is 6 recent trends, that is cruise control, CC, adaptive cruise control, electronic stability program, ESP, electronic brake distribution, that is EBD, then traction control unit. So traction control unit will control the braking system. Then cruise control, again it controls the braking system and engine. Electronic stability program, it gives the indication to braking system, steering system. Integrated starter alternator, it gives control to the starting system. Electronic brake distribution, again it gives sense or indication to the braking system. So that there will be safety of vehicle. So generally all these six terms related to safety concerns along with the stability of vehicle. So to achieve the greater stability, all these controls are used. Now students, so briefly I have discussed the content of this subject. So directly I will start the module 1, that is transmission system. Now today I will discuss the one of the component of, that is first component of transmission system is clutch. So clutch, so my exam student will say the function of clutch to engage and disengage the driving and driven shaft. Which shaft? So see, it will be incorporated or installed in between engine and gearbox. So input clutch shaft generally connected to crankshaft or output shaft of engine. Output shaft of IC engine is a crankshaft. So that is input shaft of a clutch is connected to engine. Now output shaft of a clutch is connected to gearbox. Now what is the function of clutch? That is engagement and disengagement of driving shaft, that is the engine shaft, to that of the transmission shaft, that is the engaging engine shaft and gearbox shaft is done by clutch. Again disengaging the engine shaft and gearbox shaft is done by clutch. Why this engagement and disengagement is required? Any idea? Just think about it. Other important function of clutch, other than this engagement and disengagement, just sort out other important points. In clutch, single plate clutch, that is, first I will discuss the various types of friction clutches. Single plate clutch, second one is the multi-plate clutch, third one is the cone clutch, fourth one is the centrifugal clutch. All these are the friction clutches. So first we will discuss friction clutches, then hydraulic clutches. So we will understand the construction and working of one of the friction clutch. The same analogy you can apply for other friction clutches. So in a single plate clutch, single plates are used, that is one pressure plate and one friction plate. So friction plate also called as clutch plate. So clutch plate and pressure plate one in number. So clutch plate also called as friction plate. So driving member of a clutch is connected to crankshaft via flywheel. So to this driving member of clutch, or you can say that driving shaft of a clutch is connected to clutch plate or friction plate as per single plate are concerned, single plate clutch are concerned. Then pressure plate is connected to driven shaft. So this combination is altered in multi-plate clutch. Remember student, this combination is altered in multi-plate clutch. In multi-plate clutch, So on driving shaft, pressure plate is connected, and on driven shaft, clutch plate is connected or friction plate is connected. So single plate clutch application, generally in heavy duty vehicles single plate clutch is used. Multi plate clutch in light duty vehicles. So number of plates are more, so you will think torque transmitting capacity will be more. That is power transmitting capacity is more. If torque transmitting capacity is more, that is for same size of single plate and multi plate clutch. Then in heavy duty vehicles single plate clutch are used, and in light duty vehicles, that is in two wheeler, for example, in two wheeler multi plate clutch are used. Just investigate, okay, why single plate clutch is more preferable to heavy duty vehicles, and multi plate clutch is preferable to generally two wheeler. So along with pressure plate and friction plate, on friction plate there will be a friction lining, so there will be the direct contact between pressure plate and friction plate. That as per single plate clutch is concerned, friction plate is connected to driving shaft, pressure plate is connected to driven shaft. So if I want to transmit the engine power, that is if operator wants to propel the vehicle, then if I will connect this driving and driven shaft of a clutch, then power or motion will be transmitted from engine to gearbox. So during engaging, this pressure plate and friction plate are in contact, that is direct contact, you can say that. Indirect contact will be in a hydraulic clutch. So as the friction clutches are concerned, direct contact due to friction, okay. Theory of friction, I think you already studied how the torque will be transmitted from torque, how the power will be transmitted by clutches, either by using uniform pressure theory or uniform wear theory. I think this investigation you already done. So disengagement with the help of spring, okay. So along with pressure plate, friction lining, spring are the important components. So other clutch linkages, just use any standard reference book. Other construction details you will get, okay. So important component only I am elaborating. Now in multi-plate clutch, this pressure plate and friction plate more than one in number. That's why name is the multi-plate clutch. So again, one more question. This pressure plate and friction plate are same in number or different in number? Just sort out. Either this pressure plate and friction plate are same in number or different in number. For example, 3-2, 3-3 possible. Combination, okay. Or pressure plate less than that of the friction plate, the friction plate are less than that of the pressure plate, the pressure plate equal to friction plate, okay. Just investigate it. Now if you understand the construction and working of single plate clutch, multi-plate clutch, not much changes, only some variation in the construction details. other force analysis or working details are same as that of the single plate clutch. Again, cone clutch, you can do the analogy of single plate clutch and cone clutch. So pressure plate and friction plate are replaced by two components, that is driving member and driven member. This driving member connected to driving shaft, driven member is connected to driven shaft. So this driving and driven member are a structure of two frustrated cone. That's why name is cone clutch. That is, two frustum of cone are responsible to connect input shaft and output shaft of a clutch. That is, input shaft of a clutch is connected to engine crankshaft via flywheel. Output shaft of a clutch is connected to main shaft of gearbox. Cone clutch, again, working same as that of the single plate clutch or multi plate clutch. So in some light duty vehicles, cone clutches can be replaced, that is single plate clutch can be replaced by cone clutch, okay, in certain vehicles. Now third is centrifugal clutch or semi-centrifugal clutch. So in semi-automatic transmission, this centrifugal clutch is used. For example, in mopeds, that is automatic scooters, TVS, Jupiter, Honda Activa, all these are the mopeds, Scooty Pep. So in this vehicle, no need to press the clutch pedal, that is, there is automatic clutching and declutching takes place. That is, no need to change a gear lever, okay. So generally 3-speed reduction gearbox is used in mopeds, but automatic changing of speed reduction, you can say that. So as per speed, particular speed reduction will be achieved by a gearbox. So in combination with a synchromesh gearbox, centrifugal clutch is used as per mopeds are concerned. So mopeds, you can say that semi-automatic transmission. Now in a centrifugal clutch, the axial force, generally in friction clutches, axial force acting on clutch plate will be responsible for engagement of driving and driven shaft, that is torque and power we are getting due to this axial force. This axial force will be responsible for torque transmission, that is torque or power from engine is transmitted to gearbox. So the load which is responsible to influence the torque transmission will be the axial force. Now this axial force will be replaced by centrifugal force. That is, in simple, in single plate clutch, multi plate clutch and cone clutch, axial force is responsible for torque transmission, that is the axial force acting on clutch plate and pressure plate will be responsible for torque transmission. and in centrifugal clutch, centrifugal force is responsible for engagement or and disengagement of driving shaft, you can say, or in other words, engagement and disengagement in first three clutches is done by the axial force, and in centrifugal clutch this will be achieved with the help of centrifugal force. Now students, so the next content of transmission system we'll discuss in next lecture. Okay, thank you.